is going on, everybody, and welcome to the Digital Cypha Podcast. I am your host, Ebonics, and we are joined with our other host, the Don CJG and Dio Zales. What is going on, everybody? What is going on today?
How are you doing?
Good morning, fellas.
Awesome. It's been an interesting yet quiet week, but we still have some news for you. Yo, Don, what have you been doing this week?
What have I been doing? You know what? It's been a busy week. I've been back at work this week, but I've also been live streaming, playing some Halo, playing some Outriders. It's been a fun week.
Awesome. And you, Dio?
Mostly work. Stocks have jumped up high. Hopefully everyone's doing well with that, especially with the crypto.
Aye, for
Yep.
sure.
Yep. So the guys hearing the kids in the background. Okay. It's the eldest of the kids' birthday today, so yeah. But
Happy birthday.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Outriders came out today. I'm not that today, 2 weeks ago, and it's still vibing. It's crazy. So there has been a lot of bugs. People's missing their legendaries. Missing. I mean like it's in your inventory, it's just gone. They fixed that this week, and the vibe where games being released on Game Pass is, what is this? They're saying that it's not lucrative. It's hurting the industry, and it's hurting the devs. And when you look at the numbers, when you look at the sales, you start to see that Microsoft and these partnership deals that they're making is wild. I mean, it's good. It's wild.
Yeah.
So before we get into that part of it, how you guys feel about the Outriders so far?
I'm gonna let Dio take this first because he's played substantially more Outriders than me.
Okay. It's definitely an enjoyable game. It has a good gameplay loop. It has very interesting loot that I've been dying for in this genre of games, right? I like the talent tree. The only thing that I would say is mediocre to pretty much bland is the story, and even like the graphics. To an extent, the graphics are not terrible, but they're not what I expected. I can't deny that I probably enjoyed the game a lot more because I'm playing it on Game Pass. I don't know how it would feel if I did buy it for full price at $60.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the enjoyability, that's interesting. I probably made up my word just now, but you enjoyed the game, but because it's Game Pass, you have mixed feelings about how you would have, felt about it. I guess, if you had purchased it, because you can't tie it to $15, this is pretty much a $60-$70 game right now.
To me, realistically, this is a game like if I had to recommend it to someone who did not have Game Pass, I would say buy it on sale. Like to me, it's a $40 game, $30 game.
Got you. How about you, Don?
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. The fact that this is a game on Game Pass, I'm definitely enjoying it a lot. Because after playing the demo, for last month or whatever, I wasn't particularly sold on the game. I don't think I would have spent the full £60 to buy it. But having the opportunity to play it on Game Pass, I have been enjoying it. But I'm not super far into the game in terms of progression. I think I'm level 18 now. World tier 9 probably. So I don't know how far that equates me to the story, to be honest.
Right.
But the gameplay was fun. I feel like I'm getting to the point now where I'm upgrading my gear a bit more. Looking into like modding, and kind of looking at my abilities and kind of building that kind of synchronicity between them. I don't know if that's the good word for it.
Gotcha.
Synergy is probably the word I'm looking for. And it's been fun doing that. I'm enjoying the gameplay loop, but I definitely think I wouldn't have spent full price on this game. No way.
And it's funny that you say that, and I'm really tracking on the monetary tie between out of pocket versus Game Pass.
Yeah.
To see that game come out, right, and succeed where it is right now on the charts as far as games on Steam, games on not on Game Pass but on the Microsoft Store.
Yeah,
that is on the Xbox because it's been rebranded, and in other places. It's in the top 10, some in the top 5 or top 3, if you will.
I think it's number 1, the Xbox Store for a while.
Yeah, and when you play the game, it does have its addiction. The addiction in getting to the next area, getting to the next level, getting to the next world tier, getting the the purple. Because when I'm still stuck on Destiny, when you say legendary, I'm thinking purple, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's gold.
Yeah,
it's gold in
epics and then legendary, right?
Yeah. So it has that vibe. So, but one of the things that I know that it invokes as well is a sense of burnout, and I know Dio, you've gone through that.
Yeah.
How did it burn you out specifically?
I would just say because I know it's not an MMO, but it shares a lot of same qualities. But I would realistically, if I compared it to anything else, it's more like Diablo or Path of Exile in the respect that you play through the story, and then you get to do like the end game stuff. Where I'm used to more MMOs where you have more options while you're leveling. You don't have to just follow the story. You can do dungeons, you can do PvP, you could do whatever. And I know there's no PvP in this game, and I wouldn't want it in this game because that would just make the bouncing even crazier.
Yeah.
Well, before you continue, just in case anyone doesn't know, the MMO is basically a multiplayer online game, and I think we had a discussion about that earlier in our episodes, but I'm thinking 50, 100 or more on one map or something like that. Whereas Outriders, you're just locked in with 4 people, but they have MMO elements in the game, right? That's what you're mentioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see this being an MMO, and I'm not saying I want it to be. It's just that I know I'm not at the end game yet. I know like the end game is where you get more of those like dungeon type feels for the missions and everything. I think it would probably be better if there was more of that in the middle of the game also. I mean, I know there's side quests that are kind of like that, but I don't know. I think there needs to be like some other stuff to do, like when the story is burned up, because the story is not very good.
Right.
So.
Right. And I think the side quests should have been more procedural than just a replay. And by procedural meaning like something that is always it probably has the same, what is it called, end goal.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just the map is just forever changing. It's never the same, because the side quest is the same in every biome and in every stage or location that you go to. So for me, what I did, I've maxed my level to 30. I'm world tier 10, trying to get to 11. I've started the game over because I've reached a point where I was like, well, first and foremost, I reached a boss that was on some god tier level type vibe where I was like, yo, I am underleveled and I'm max level. They're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it was purely gear and weapons. And I couldn't go back because in the story, someone dies, everybody's kidnapped, so I can't go back to the actual truck or my convoy, because the only person that is there is the person that is a resident to the planet that does nothing.
Oh, you actually can if you go to the main menu in the login.
Right. I'm talking about going back to the convoy and talking to the scientists who upgrade your gear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. If you in the login screen, there's an option to choose where you want to be in the story.
Right. No,
And
I'm talking about
like-
I'm talking about in the level, in that levels, instead of having to go out into the lobby. Right, in that specific level.
Okay, so you're up to like Yagak.
I'm sorry.
You're up to the boss Yagak. He's like a big mutant looking monster. Like his Frolic has a big ass two-handed sword.
Is that who it is? I'm not sure. We're at a port where, I don't know if that's him, cause your dude dies. He falls into a pit or whatever.
Yeah, the Russian guy dies.
Yeah. Did you pass that part?
Yeah,
I
I'm up to that part too.
Yeah. So that part, like, I was under level for that joint. And when I ran back, nobody was there. I was like, gosh, now I have to go into the lobby. I have to go to a different story, and then have to talk to this guy. I didn't want to have to do that. You know what I mean? Because but there was no going back. I had to go through that route. So, yeah. And it's funny because then you're kind of, I don't want to. If you really want to progress, you're forced into doing multiplayer. To bring someone else in to lead a tank. Which I guess that's the point. But if you are a solo player,
or you can bring down your world level. That's what.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been doing that. Like,
bro,
I don't like it doing that. I prefer to just get better loot or get better.
Exactly. Exactly. And that has been the topic too. There's a gamer that I frequently play. Just not frequently, but I just when I see him playing, he's playing shooters. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? He's like, yo, what's up, E? And then we just start talking, right? And we were talking about it because some of his friends were doing the same things. Like, man, I was at this boss. He was ridiculously hard, bro. I had to go down, bro. And he was level what? World Tier 7. So World Tier 1, right, is like novice. So it's like beyond novice. And then World Tier 2 is easy. World Tier 3 is normal. World Tier 4 is hard. World Tier 5 is very hard. And just moving up, right? So he got up to World Tier 7. He went to the boss. The boss was smacking him left and right. You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, man, it was so hard, bro. I had to go back to World Tier 1, son. I was like, you crazy. You're crazy. I was like, it shouldn't have been that drastic. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what he said. He went there. So, but the thing about it is, to some, who are hardcore gamers, or those who enjoy the challenge, I should say. They, stick into it, awesome people. Those who went down the road of going back to World Tier 1, that's, it's the way you enjoy playing, me and Dio know someone who will play in World Tier 1 24/7,
Oh, yeah.
And that is me. No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? And they're all about the story, and they're all about finishing the story and enjoying that specific type. They're not really interested in challenges. So yeah, man. But the thing about it that's interesting about Outriders, as we mentioned before, is it's kind of hitting that $29.99 to $39.99 price range if you really want to come out of pocket and feel enjoyable about your spend, but because it's on Game Pass, a lot of people picked it up, and we're talking on multiple platforms. We're not talking like only on Xbox. We're talking about on multiple platforms. People picked up on the game and purchased it, and they have received quadruple the amount of sales that they would normally receive if they just went, retail with it, right? So that's interesting. Not to mention MLB coming
Yeah.
on Xbox.
Right.
I know we spoke about it before, but there's been some shedding of light. I mean, reveal.
Yes.
Whew, that one is a touchy subject. First, I have to explain. If you're looking at this video, you see me knocking on doors. There was a little bit of an issue back in the day when Assassin's Creed came out. When these doors, your weapon could go through the door and then kind of break the wood on the back end that would unlock the door. They have come to fix that. So now you have to find your way into the building, and some of these buildings have no entry, period. But there's loot on the inside. So, yeah. Anyways, moving forward. MLB. Imagine me being a developer and Dio is the publisher. Dio, I've been licensed and contracted to you since 2000 and maybe 7, right? Making games for you, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, Ebonics, we're going someplace else with this. We're gonna go multi-platform. I was like, but wait, I'm a PlayStation-centric studio, right? My name says PlayStation Studios in it. So how are we gonna go multi-platform? Dio says, well, that's a you problem. But the game is gonna go multi-platform. So MLB is, as we know, is not new news, but is going to Xbox day one through Game Pass.
Yep.
And it's also going to Switch later on down the line.
Oh.
I did not know that, but somewhere during the ending of this year, it's going to Switch.
Makes sense, man. Switch has some big sales.
I feel the hurt, but I also feel kind of, queasy on the inside. It's like, yo, what is going on? I'm clicking my pen. Let me stop. This is weird. Because when you think about fanboyism, let's think Halo, for instance. I'm touching on Don's toes. Don, how would you feel if Halo went to Epic Games?
Epic. Epic Games is a publisher.
As a platform.
As a platform. Okay.
For people to play on. Marketplace.
I mean,
first, not on Xbox One, not on Xbox.
Who went there first? They're like, okay, this is a bit, I feel like if the other platform is getting a better deal than the platform it's originally on, then I'll be a bit annoyed.
Okay.
If Halo went to Epic's Games and Epic's Games were getting it like a week early or getting it at a cheaper price, or they have their own Game Pass thing, whatever, then I'd as an Xbox player who's been playing the game for many years,
day one,
I'd be like, what the heck? I'd be like, what the heck, man?
So you won't sleep with the case anymore, pretty much. You'll toss it to the side.
I'd be very annoyed.
So MLB is coming on Game Pass free for anyone that's on that subscription. The difference between those who are buying it on PlayStation and those who's playing on Game Pass is PlayStation has the option of standard versus next gen. Game Pass is only doing standard, not next gen.
Okay. Makes sense.
Now, it's still free. That's the thing. Still, it's a Sony.
Sure?
Yeah. What? Sure about what?
The game being not next gen?
It's not next gen.
Are you sure? I guess because in my downloads it comes up as an optimized game.
Optimized for Series X, Series S, but remember, optimize. Okay, so when I was looking at it, when I looked at the game that was downloaded, it said standard, and the price for was it $69.99 was available for purchase,
Okay.
right? But the other one was like through Game Pass. So I would say definitely check it out. I could be wrong; it could have changed, but I thought when I saw it, it said standard was the downloadable version, and to me it makes sense because we're being given the opportunity to play this game, for free through Game Pass. So why not the standard version? If it was the next gen version, I'll feel like I'm in heaven with MLB. And I'll be grinning side by side. When I mean next gen, I'm talking like, the standard version is kind of like playing on a PS4, Xbox One. Next gen is like, only playable on Series X and PlayStation 5.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the file info right now. It says, it's the next gen version.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Console type, Xbox Gen 9.
Okay. Then we need a lot of people on the YouTube waves to start changing. Because when I was looking at it, it said standard to me. So I need to take another look at that.
Yeah, if you go on your manage game, you go to file info.
Yeah.
See the generation.
No, file info.
Yes.
Okay.
So it gives you like a bunch of scramble code, but
yeah,
if you look in there,
I understand that part. But I'm gonna have to check and see because the downloaded what came on my backlog for what's coming next week was the standard version that was downloaded, not the next gen version. That's why I'm talking the way I am at this point. But, but if that's the case where the next gen is available, then that changes the game. And some feelings as well. Yeah. The decision was MLB, Major League Baseball, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They basically are the publishers, and Sony is the developers. So that was their decision, and we're gonna see how this plays out. I hope it really skyrockets on the Xbox side and on the Nintendo Switch side, so that we can see more of those exclusives that are not exclusives to become multi-platform.
Yeah.
Because 2K games, or is it just 2K, is I think people are not really happy with them, right? The NBA 2K and so forth has been a little bit kind of iffy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to see that come across with MLB, that's gonna change some eyebrows on the other side of other sports games. And for anybody interested in the NHL, that's also on Game Pass. It got released I think sometime this week, so it looks pretty cool. Path of Exile went through some scrutiny this week. Undeserved, I should say. Undeserved. I will talk about trying to get my notes up as I pull this up here. One sec. So what happened was some guy on Reddit came on to Reddit saying that he's disabled and he was banned from playing Path of Exile because he was using macros.
Okay.
And first it erupted on Reddit, and then it filtered into social media, and that's when it went into wildfire territory. Like, it just blew up. Let me see here. The Gamer and Game Rant wrote about how unfair it was, or the situation that was going on with this disabled person not being able to use macros, because the whole thing was the macros was used to heal him because of his disability. He couldn't press the number 4 key.
Yeah.
or something like that.
Okay, so like literally disabled. Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
The thing about it is the grinding games, the developers of Path of Exile couldn't
Mhm.
find the band and evidence of the band itself. Later on,
They could.
the disabled individual came out and said that he's an educator and he wanted to prove that lies shapes social media or people to believing whatever is being said. So the kid's not disabled.
Okay. So this is just somebody trying to prove a point
Trying to prove a point.
that people jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah. Not to
Okay.
mention that even the response of that person being an educator and doing what they said, doing what they did, does not seem legitimate of itself.
No.
No.
Because something came across, somebody got hacked, information came about where something else was said on the same profile. It's just some crazy stuff going on. And it really caused some discord because there are specific agencies, the disability advocates, like Able Gamer and Special Effect was affected by this, as well as the developer. Unbeknownst to me, because Dio just revealed this to me, is they're making Path of Exile 2.
Yep.
Now, for a while, they've been trying to smash this whole situation on Twitter and so forth, saying that we don't know what's going on and we'll get to the bottom of it. But you're talking about hundreds of people, going to the post telling this company what to do.
Yeah.
I find it kind of disheartening, honestly, because now I have some reason to believe that there's gonna have something put in place, right? That's gonna be either for or it's gonna hurt people with disability. Let's keep in mind that Microsoft put out the controller, right, to help in situations like this. They have programs, these advocates, they go out and they speak with developers and help developers create features that are iconic towards the, no, I won't say iconic, they're meant to help people with disabilities to play their game. These advocates do. So for things like this to go out really hurts that. Not to mention the amount of people who got fooled and started going off for apparently, I can't say for no reason. I can't even say they had just cause either, because they didn't know. The research wise, how do you research that? How do you know? You know what I'm saying? Rightfully that this person is really disabled or this person is really having this issue. You know what I'm saying? The person who wrote this article did the right thing, and when they called out to the company and say, hey, they're actually the CEO, and the CEO said, we don't know what's going on because we don't see this stuff that he's talking about. Usually when there's a ban, you have a log of the band and who's banned, and you have a record so that if it's timed or if it's permanent, you have that record. Because people, companies share bans for a reason. Anyways, what do you guys think about that? I mean, I know I spoke a lot. You probably have nothing to say after that, but I mean, it hurts the community, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you guys? I mean, have you guys experienced anything like that where somebody you're playing a game with, just right out lied just to play a game with you when you realize they weren't who they say they were? I mean,
well, I kind of feel like that's just kind of typical of these type of things nowadays anyway. Like, it's not to get too political, but we see it in all forms of our culture nowadays. So I try not to be too reactionary and just go wherever my bias is. I really try to at least try to think of what the other side might be thinking before anything, but it's something you can't really avoid. I mean, not everyone's going to be thoughtful. Not everyone's going to be, wanting to be looking at both sides of the fence. So this definitely does to hurt the community to a respect, because even you could even say, like, not the situation at all about disability, but just like games, like in general, like Outriders, right? It would be really easy if people wanted to like really hurt the game really bad and be like, this game is completely garbage. It should have had launched like this, blah 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 blah. Like they've done with other games in the past that had potential to get better, and people just got reactionary. I mean, like a good example is like Fallout 76. It launched bad, but when you look at the game now, it's so much better. But there's still people who would never give it a chance because of how it launched. And you can even say the same thing about ESO. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just something that we can't do. Human nature.
Gotcha. So that's the only negative we got for today. Well, sorry, there was another one. There's another one. The almighty Square Enix. So Square Enix, a very reputable company. I mean, probably not of late because of Avengers, right? How that one came out, and then some other game that came out. I think there's two games that didn't, shine pretty well. But Final Fantasy, Just Cause, Tomb Raider, very good games. Apparently, there was an article that was released by Bloomberg, I think that's the name, who stated that the company is looking for buyers into their, the company. And Twitter just went off on a note, like, oh yeah, Microsoft, oh yeah, Sony, and this and that, right? The article has no ground, because that article was a follow-up to another article from CTFN News. CTFN News is a team of journalists and analysts trained in merger processes with sources in industry, finance, regulatory bodies, and legal profession. We uncover leading-edge stories, risks, and opportunities associated with M&A and more. So I can see where Bloomberg will start to feel like, hey, this is coming from, CTFN, that news. It must be legit, right?
Yeah.
It could be legit. It possibly could. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that
there's no official.
There's no official. We know that Microsoft has a lot of acquisitions happening this year. We know that they're going to purchase other studios and partner with other studios, bring games into their Game Pass, ecosystem. But this is the second time that social media has caused some form of damage. Actually, third, including Path of Exile. So we got Square Enix, right? They got hit. Path of Exile got hit. Halo got hit. There's one more that got hit. I can't remember. Oh, EA and their issues covered by the Don C's AG.
Yeah.
And the lawsuits for selling, was it $5 million worth of whatever? Oh, Cyberpunk. Well,
Cyberpunk really got it.
the father of like social smash will be Cyberpunk. I would think if anyone, Cyberpunk probably deserved it. Not really the devs, because the devs weren't really involved. It's more
the devs getting actors a bit more.
Yeah, I think the leadership.
Yeah.
But guys, social media. If somebody tells you something's happening, do some research, please. Definitely do some research.
100%.
Definitely. But on lighter news, have you guys ever heard of the gaming fund? Or sorry, the games fund?
Games fund? I don't think I have.
No.
No? Awesome. Cause I'm sorry, something is yo, it's getting scary over here. Yo, no,
Something's happening.
my light flickered. I was like, okay. may not the stream fall. So the games fund is an organization or a business or some form of they're an option, I guess. I don't know how to put it. It was put together by creatives and developers to invest into studios. And I'm gonna read this. Their whole goal is putting its resources behind developers seeking investment and access to the expertise of establishing professionals in development, publishing, and more. So I guess I can say they're kind of like, when these companies have these competitions or they have these summits, if you will, where developers present their games, and then Microsoft or Epic Games would give them $50,000, right, towards their development. So this company is kind of, I wouldn't say they're like that. They're not like a once a year type of situation. They're kind of more of people, these studios apply, and then they would aid in the development of not just the game but the studio itself. You know what I'm saying?
Reminds me a bit like Idea Xbox.
Right. Exactly. But they are targeting Europe and the United States right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So far the original target was $30 million, and they've maxed out. Well, I would say maxed out. They've reached up to $50 million to fund game studios at this time. And again, they consist of a team of industry investors and creators. So anyone that is interested in developing a game, you have a team, minimum of 5.
Okay.
Definitely look into that. Even if you get rejected, I would say ask why.
Yeah, of course.
Because they will let you know what they're looking for. I looked on their website because I was going to provide that information as well. And they didn't have no requirements. Like to apply, there was no requirements, which didn't make sense to me, because you're about to give studios, a couple, some good amount of money to develop games, right? So there were no requirements there, just the apply now button. So definitely look into that if you're interested in game development. And now we hear from Don CJG. He got some Halo news for us. What you got for us, sir?
Hey, yes. So obviously we had about 2 weeks ago we had the Inside Infinite audio update, and they did another Ask 343 video. I believe it was yesterday, day before. I think it was about 2 days ago. And they drop it every Thursday. Yes. So they kind of expanded on a lot of the points they were making, because you looked at that article, it was very terminology heavy. I guess is the way to look at it.
A lot of jargon.
Yeah, there's a lot of jargon in there, and it was quite interesting to kind of hear a bit more kind of explanation towards those systems and how they all work. And it was, obviously I'm no audio expert. I don't want to necessarily crash or butcher the explanations they were making. So I think if anyone's looking for a better technical perspective, I'll definitely look into that video on the Halo YouTube channel.
Okay. If you can drop that into the chat so they have a link to that.
Yes, I will do that.
So other than the was anything else happening with Halo that was leading up to this audio piece?
Uh, Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy going on really. They did drop season 6 as well for MCCP.
Okay.
But in terms of Infinite itself, it's been relatively quiet. You know, you're still getting your bi-weekly updates for everybody who's interested. But in terms of big news, there's nothing really been going on.
Gotcha.
But I think we'll probably see some more next month. The end of this month, they're doing a PC kind of blog, kind of detailing whatever details they want to talk about, I assume.
Gotcha.
But yeah, next month will definitely be a lot more.
Okay. We look
Interesting.
forward to that, definitely. Dio, you was killing it on World of Warcraft this week. I would not be surprised if you're beyond max level with the highest gear known to man.
No, not really. I've been so casual with that I'm just playing just to have fun, and mostly in preparation for the Burning Crusade Classic, which is the expansion to Classic WoW.
Before you jump into the expansion, just give us an idea for anyone that doesn't know what World of Warcraft is.
So World of Warcraft has been around for I think more than 15 years now, and if you're subscribed to it, you can actually play what's called retail WoW, which doesn't make sense that it has that title, but what's current day WoW. Yeah, fans call it retail because before Classic WoW was on private servers, which were illegal. So you had vanilla WoW, which was on private servers, and then you had retail WoW, which is what you paid for. So the name has stuck since then. So it's pretty cool because with retail WoW, you get to play a more casual setting where it has all those, comforts of group finder, transmog, just pretty much anything that can make the game a bit easier on it. Where Classic WoW is a game from back in 2004, where we didn't have all these standards and everything, and some people might find that off-putting because it's old graphics and the game is harder than it needs to be. But for some people like me, it's more enjoyable that way because you feel like you earn every little bit of it.
Yeah.
Now, when you say harder than it needs to be, what does that mean? Because let's say somebody comes in for the first time and they play that vanilla WoW, or they play that, the classic, right? Yeah. And you're saying that's where the heart is. That's where people who really generally, I'm assuming, love WoW. That's where most likely they would go, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think retail is still really good, and I think that there's nothing wrong with for people who enjoy that. But with Classic, it's definitely a slower paced game, and you have to group up with people. Like, it's not like where WoW nowadays, you can just get Group Finder to do it all for you. You could just queue up, and then it'll find you people to play with, and that's it. Where Classic has a more of a personal feel, where you actually had to make friends with people, make a guild, and you know who you're getting involved with, and you're actually tackling things together like that. And there's actually quests and other things like that that are almost pretty much impossible unless you're really good at the game or you're playing the right class and have the right gear.
Gotcha. So what do we say? Collaborative gameplay in WoW is something that has to be, it's not like an automatic find. It's something that you would, when you see somebody in the field, you kind of like using the chat box or you're speaking on VoIP IP.
Exactly.
And be like, hey, you want to link up or something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, in the game now, you could click on about just anything and it'll help you just automatically put you in a group with people where, just like you were saying, like if you pass somebody, be like, hey, do you need to do this quest? And it could just, be like, yeah, I need to do it too. Or like, hey, I've done it already, but I can still help you out. And you really build those relationships. I mean, even if you play on a PvP server and you're leveling, you're going to see people who are on the opposite faction leveling up around the same time as you. and you have the moral choice to either kill them while they're trying to quest. And
Of course. Of course.
you know, if you do it, you could have fun doing it, but at the same time, they might come and get you back later when you're trying to do your quest, or even they might out level you and they'll be like, I remember you, and then, you know, it's
You gotta kill
definitely
him.
community driven.
Bro. As far
Oh
as,
yeah, Red is dead. Red is dead.
as far as I know, WoW is like a knit community, right, of people who, once you become something, it's like everybody knows you type of vibe, I'm assuming. So you can't really play games and be stupid in WoW, from my understanding. You gotta bring your A game in that game.
Well, with retail, current day WoW, you can really be anonymous because they have cross server and you could even play on a different faction on the same server nowadays. Where with the vanilla WoW, the classic WoW, it does have more of that feeling. Whereas like your name, it'll stick around. People will be like, "Oh, that guy, I remember him. He was in my raid and he stole the gear. Don't invite him."
Oh snap!
Yeah,
No way. And
so it's definitely different.
Is gear locked to your character when you put it on, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, got you. So okay, I know that if I started playing that game and I did something stupid, like I accidentally picked up a knife, and that was an epic, crazy knife somebody dropped by mistake because it was like trying to, work on their inventory. You know that stupid thing that happens in MMOs. Somebody's there in the corner just by themselves, looking in their bags, right? And then they accidentally drop a weapon.
Those accidents.
And then here comes this guy. You see him sneaking behind you, right? He's like, and he comes close, he picks it up, and then he runs away.
Certainly not me, I promise.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Certainly
like
not me.
you have those moments. I know you had those moments. You're like,
Oh yeah.
You better don't touch my stuff.
Vendio hunted him down in mud.
I literally had a situation with that this morning with someone on my own faction where
No.
there was a bunch of enemies surrounding a treasure chest, and I'm killing them off, being smart about it. And this guy comes out of nowhere, beelines to my chest, loots it while I'm still fighting like 3 guys by myself, and then leaves with all the loot that I was trying to get. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
Feels
nice.
feels-
And what did he do? What did Dio do?
well, I couldn't do nothing because he was on my faction. So
So there's
Yeah.
there's no
Dio
talk.
just sat there in pain.
yeah.
No way. No way.
He's like, well,
Because I was like, I think there was a game where it allowed you to leave a party and then you automatically became enemies.
Division?
Was it the Division?
I think so, yeah.
There was another one.
Yeah.
There was another one. But yeah, Division is a good example where you go in a dark zone and you leave your party and then you shoot the party. You take the party stuff. Man, that is sick. That is sick. Wow. So
But yeah.
okay. So the expansion.
So the expansion to Classic, I mean, obviously we've had it launched before because Classic is going pretty much the same route that we did before. It's called Burning Crusade. This was the first expansion to the game back in the day, and from what a lot of players feel is the best expansion because this is before Blizzard and Activision merged together.
Okay.
And I started playing at the end of Burning Crusade, and I remember enjoying it, but I was still very new to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to trying that out and seeing how it feels from the beginning of the expansion.
Okay.
The only thing that I would say I would complain about is that Blizzard is trying to sell a character boost to get your character to level 58. So if you weren't playing Classic and you want to catch up to your friends without having to do all the leveling before Burning Crusade comes out, you could buy that one-time character boost to get your character to 58 so you could get to level 70 altogether.
So let's be realistic about this.
Yeah.
If you are going into World of Warcraft for the first time, you have no friends at all. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't pay for the boost.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would even say don't even pay for the boost at all because there's so many other things you can do. But I mean, to me, the only people that should really be thinking about that are like hardcore raiders who have a guild established,
Yeah, multiple
or hardcore
characters.
PvPers. Yeah, and even then, I would still say it's not really worth it, because if you have a guild and friends like that, they could just boost you, right? Like they could just run you through dungeons and help you level up quicker.
Wait, so are you saying that if a guild doesn't want to boost you, then they're not worth being a guild?
I'm not saying it's not worth it, but I'm just saying that there's other ways to go about it. You know, I mean, even the leveling experience itself, I don't know what they're gonna value this at, but I don't. If I had to guess, it would be around like $25 to $40.
Well, the reason why I say that is because every guild that I've been in has been exceptional except for one.
Okay.
My very first Final Fantasy 14 PlayStation game, guild, I should say. They're very good people, but they were like, you gotta figure this out, and then once you get to our level, then we'll work on some stuff. And in my mind, I was like, you guys did put in the work to get to where you're at. So, the one guy, he drove me to all the teleport stations in the whole game, all teleport stations. So that if I needed to fast travel, right, to the next level, I didn't have to like run like for 5 hours to the next location.
Yeah.
Right. So when I say run, I'm talking like from this location, I gotta fight all these people, right, to get to the next region. I can fast travel. So that was kind of cool because it was my first time. So I figured like, yeah, man, that's awesome. For some people it's not, because that breaks the immersion of getting from one place to the next, right? But it still was kind of cool. But your guild, if your guild is definitely, with you the whole nine, man, that's a trustworthy guild. I wouldn't leave them for anything. If they buy you a boost, that means they need you. They need you desperately at a certain level, and they're willing to pay for your gear, pay for your weapons, teach you because that just means like whatever that class and that they need you in is hard to get. It's hard. It's hard to get for that specific guild. So they're investing into you. So there's just different ways how these people, as far as groups, how they work. So, but
if I had to guess, your first guild sounds like they probably invested into a few people who ended up leaving them, and they got tired of people leaving them. Because that happens a lot, where you'll have a guild that for whatever reason is kind of like the middle, like stop, like the halfway house. They get kind of used by everybody, by like these new players. It happens a lot.
They were a guild that was split off from a bigger guild because of an issue, an internal issue. So think of your guild as a company. Actually, I don't know if this is true, but is it true that if Nintendo did not exist, PlayStation wouldn't exist?
Technically, because they helped them with their, because they were building they were on a project together before the PlayStation was built, and then they broke ways, and then that's when Sony ended up making a PlayStation after.
So members of Nintendo created PlayStation. Would you say that? And separated?
They definitely worked together. Yeah, I mean, pretty much just like how Microsoft and Sega worked together on the Dreamcast.
Gotcha.
But that actually launched, where the Nintendo and Sony system that they're working together on after Nintendo never launched.
Gotcha. Because some of these guilds, they really do operate like a company in game, where they have like certain types of monetary fee. This is all being done by the guild master, right? Whether there's a fee or not. But there was an internal debate. One group didn't like what the other group was doing, because of course, people do tend to, clump together based on personalities and gameplay and stuff like that. Yeah. And then so this group veered off to its own, created their own guild, and then moved forward. I'm sure it happens a lot, like a crazy amount of times. That's the window I should have broken. But yeah, from that point, they did what was necessary, and they said that you're on your own. And then if you come to our level, then we'll consider you a part of our guild.
Mm-hmm.
So now looking back, after I've experienced other guilds, I think they were like the suckiest guild ever. Ever. Because they were kind of being more. I'm sure you're trying to be safe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to be a dick about being safe.
Oh, of course not.
You know what I'm saying?
If I had to guess, these people came from World of Warcraft and they went into Final Fantasy.
They were a little bit elitist. I you know what? I think they were elitist by they learned it over. You know what I'm saying? They learned it because it didn't come across as people who came from another MMO. They were like it's kind of like if I said I was because I came from Xbox. Oh man, you're Xbox. They sound like some fanboys, to be honest. But you know, they welcomed me in because I had a PlayStation. I was playing Final Fantasy 14, whatever. And but again, because you know their old clan or guild was divided and they came about, they had their tight group. You know, and here's how you know, because the guild leader, right, his girlfriend or wife or whatever was also the person who was doing all the trading and stuff, and nothing went past any of them. Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. It's like either you know them or you didn't know them. Like if you knew them, yeah, it's like one of those situations. So it was kind of weird.
No, I've been in guilds like that.
Yeah. As someone who's never been part of these kind of communities, it sounds really weird.
Well, I mean, for you, it probably you're part of a guild for Halo. But the thing about Halo, I would assume, is that everybody's on their own, but you guys come together as a group for like PvP matches and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So imagine, right? Imagine one of the guys is leading the whole group for Halo, right?
Yep.
And he has a best friend that's basically, you know, his G.
All right.
You know, the friend is telling everybody what to do in the name of the guildmaster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much the only way you can make it similar to how a shooter clan works compared to like a MMO guild is that, you know, people are gonna get chosen on a shooter guild by KD ratio, where on an MMO they're gonna get chosen because of their gear level and race.
Yeah.
Don, we had this situation with Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
Yeah, a little bit. I remember slightly.
If you couldn't use the healer, if you couldn't zap the person properly, you know, if you couldn't take them down and reveal who else was on the map, you were suck. You suck pretty much, and you had to go. It was competitive. It was competitive for no reason. There was no money involved. Oh my gosh.
Apparently my KD was good enough to be inside. You know?
Hey, that's why you're still here. I'm sorry, Don. Dio. Anyway. But yeah, it's been weird. It's been weird. But yeah, guys. So first, just wanna bring reference to thanking you guys for being a part of the podcast. It's been awesome. This is our 21st episode. We're still planning on pushing some more. We would like to do something at least every 20, if not on the 50th episode, hopefully. But want to thank you guys for showing up and supporting the podcast.
Of course.
Don C's AG, you made it to affiliate finally. How does it feel?
It feels weird. I made it to affiliate on Twitch, and it was weird. I was talking about it the day before it happened, and I was like, I'll probably get it in like a month or something, you know. And then it just happened the next day, and it was just so it's been crazy, but it's good to see like love and support from the community. And
so where can they find you?
Badansiaji on Twitch, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Xbox Live, everywhere.
And Dio is also soon to be, not yet, but he's working on it. He's working on his streams. Where can they find you, sir?
Same thing. I'm Dio Zales on everything. I gotta stay my blog now.
Awesome.
But one little shout out before we leave, though.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys know about this. For Xbox Game Pass announced this today. There's a tournament for Soul Calibur 6.
Yes, that is true. Are you gonna jump on that?
I'm definitely gonna watch. I want to support it, because more it is for the community is a good thing. It's supposed to be on Twitch, and it's supposed to be 1:30 p.m. Eastern and 10:30 a.m. Pacific time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. Can I relate it to Japanese? Because I think it'll be like their first Japanese style tournament, or like international tournament maybe. Because usually it's Street Fighter and Soul Calibur and Dead or Alive, but there is not really Xbox, and it's not really PlayStation. It's usually like some like a third party, like Evo type situation. But to see Xbox push a tournament like this is very cool, where we're having like an international showing for anybody that has the console. So I kind of relate to Asia, because they're the ones that really go in ham on these joints. But I'm sure there's other cultures like South America and so forth. But definitely this is a great move. Definitely a great move.
Yeah, and there's a prize pool too.
Oh, really?
What is it?
$2,000.
Not bad.
Yeah. How do I get in this tournament?
Wait.
Registration was started a few days ago, so you missed it.
But can you fight? Can you fight? You got skills like that?
No.
But for $2,000, right?
I might fluke it out. You never know.
Man, either that or you be the test dummy for the first person. He feel good about himself until he hits that second person and be like, man, yo.
Me in a fighting game is it's not it's not a good mix.
You me Mortal Kombat today at 5.
You would 100% win.
Cool. Good on the shout out there, Dio. That is, I did forget about that one, but that is definitely cool to see Xbox doing that for the community. Again, my name is Ebonics. I'm everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and you were watching the Digital Cypha Podcast. Thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.